Hello everyone, the time has come where, sadly, we are forced to make this video. If this video reaches you, that means you must play Escape from Tarkov and are curious about the cheating issues within this game. For the past 6 years, our team has been keeping track of all major cheat developers. Not only that, but their communities as well. We, alongside BSG's own spies, have been blending in with these individuals in order to attack the root at its core, going as far as reaching staff roles with resellers and official development teams. Our team consists of eager reverse engineers, cybersecurity specialists, and former cheat developers. Together, we decided that our love for Tarkov was greater than sitting still and watching the cheating problems rise. So, we took it into our own hands rather than waiting idly. The reason we decided to make this video now is that there are huge misconceptions that lead to a lot of misinformation, which in turn works like a poison to the community as a whole. Firstly, we want to explain our role in the cheat world surrounding this game. To ensure everybody understands, we will try to explain as much as we can. What did we do? And what is our role? Our team was split up into several micro-teams that had their own roles. These roles were Obtain, Preserve, Reverse, Fulfill, Blending. 1. The role of Obtain was to acquire the cheats. To clarify, the funds for these cheats were sponsored by ourselves. This fight against the cheaters was very expensive. 2. The role of Preserve was to maintain a healthy relationship within the cheating community, to stay up to date about changes, seek issues, and deliver support to cheaters to gain reputation within these communities. This role was crucial to ensure our cover wasn't blown. 3. The role of Reverse was one of the biggest roles in our team. The task for this role was to take the cheat loader that was obtained and completely reverse engineer it. Reverse engineering is where you take a program or driver and work your way back to obtain information and data about the file that can be used to understand the file better. The reverse engineering team would take the cheat loader and check what it does exactly, including licenses, file trees, and ultimately the driver that the cheat used to hide from the anti-cheat. 4. The role of Fulfill was to make a detailed report about our findings. This included the completely decompiled driver and all other obtained data from the cheat loader, as well as reporting to the licensing software or provider that handles the licenses the cheat developers use to sell their cheat. 5. Finally, the role of Blending was set out for a different set of people. Some were within our team, others were not as close. The Blending role kind of exists in two different teams. One had the task of trying to blend in with cheat forums and communities, such as Discord and Telegram, trying to obtain an insider position within these communities, which could give us the upper hand in battling them and keeping track of other information. The others had the task of keeping an eye on cheat communities. You may have seen some streamers talk with these spies. Some worked with us, but most just decided to snitch for the sake of feeling some sort of relevance because nobody knows them. Funny enough, streamers, most of the people that reached out to you with insider information just want validation and know little to nothing, while cheating themselves and fully using the software provided in those communities. Why now? Why wait? Sadly enough, we have fought this battle all by ourselves, with occasionally representatives of BattleEye chiming in and confirming something back to us after we emailed our findings to them. We have tried to reach out to BSG many times, but they always want to shut us out, pretending we didn't exist. Even after the developer of the game decided that we didn't matter, we decided to keep doing what we do. However, as of March 2024, BattleEye had stopped responding to us, and we noticed that most cheats we spent weeks on to counter were still up and running without issue months later. That's why we decided to give up after these beautiful 6 years while trying to inform the entire community about everything. With that in mind, we will now provide a ton of information. Bear with us and learn from this. We won't go into too much detail about specifics, as to try to avoid even more chaos. 1. Cheats. What kind of cheats are there? Cheats can be categorized very easily. There are externals and internal cheats, each with their own subcategory. External cheats consist of bots, such as flea market bots, KD droppers, skill level bots. External cheats are harder to detect because they don't actually write anything to the game itself. It is a cheat that runs alongside your game. Most of these named above are using scripts that read your screen and move the mouse in specific predetermined coordinates to achieve the wanted result. Flea market bots can be configured to buy cheap items, as well as selling bulk items, while also completing the CAPTCHA. KD droppers are used by cheaters to lower their stats. This has become really popular amongst cheaters since BSG added profile viewing. This external cheat can run alongside the game and move the character from the stash to a random or selected map, sometimes even taking into account the time of day. For example, night raids are preferred because you won't find the body as easily, thus going completely unnoticed. They will either blow themselves up, or in some cases the cheater will do it manually once, and the KD dropper will run them in circles, straight, or make them jump to bleed out faster while they have a self-inflicted heavy bleed. The skill level bots are not as popular, but they do exist. It's a very complicated piece of software that will take into account what you need to level skills such as endurance, strength, vitality, health, etc. External cheats also include the DMA category. DMA stands for Direct Memory Access. This device sits in the PCI slot of the gaming computer. While this is the usual setup, there are slowly appearing DMA devices in the shape of NVMe drives and other hardware that will make it harder to detect these hardware devices. Luckily, the DMA devices on their own are really easy to find. However, like everything else, there are people that are able to replicate firmware of other devices and apply them to the DMA device. This masks the DMA device as another legit device, such as an aftermarket network card. In some very unique and expensive cases, this goes as far as getting a one-to-one replica of a device. For example, a capture card, when done correctly, and if the config space of this capture card is really unique, no anti-cheat will be able to simply find and stop this DMA device. The reason DMA is under the external category is that the DMA is connected to a second computer, which is the location where the cheat will run. Most DMA cheats will only utilize the reading function of the DMA device. Reading memory means to specifically listen for certain memory pools. How this works is fairly simple once you understand. A lot of data within the game will be sent to your memory because this data will later be used by the CPU and/or GPU to render this data. For example, the location of players is a very logical one. A lot of games always send the real-time data of players to the memory. If you know what memory pool to look for, you will be able to obtain that information. All you need is something that can read this memory, for example, Cheat Engine. However, obviously, Cheat Engine is blocked by the majority of online multiplayer games, thus you would need other ways to read this memory. With a DMA, no cheat will run directly on your computer. If you only enable the features of these cheats that read the memory and not write anything, it's almost impossible to get banned due to a detection. The only way you will be banned is due to a manual check after lots of reports, or if your firmware gets detected by the anti-cheat. However, that being said, DMA also has the option to write memory. Writing memory changes these memory pools or adds memory pools. Of course, you cannot edit and add everything you'd like. There are certain checks and balances in place that will stop you from doing these actions, but a lot is still possible. Writing memory is used for aimbot, no recoil, no sway, and instant ADS. Internal cheats are cheats that run on the gaming computer itself while injecting themselves into the game. This is done in various ways, but most commonly, the cheat will come with a loader. This loader is designed to log you in, validate that you are the buyer, and will set everything up for you automatically. Sometimes you'll need to modify certain BIOS settings to make sure that the cheat can run on a very deep level. The cheat loader will prepare a temporary driver. This driver is set up to launch before anything else. The hard part about these drivers is that they are hidden as a valid driver by using their signature and profile, while modifying it to run the cheat inside the game once it's launched. This complicated event will take cheat developers the longest time to create, because once the driver is safe and can inject into the game, there is no stopping, except if the cheat developer is not careful with touching the wrong aspects. The issue with internal cheats is that they allow a lot of modification. Speed, fly, and fake crouch cheat features are great examples of this. They abuse the existing code from the game and manipulate it to achieve these features. The reason it's so easy for cheat developers to find the game code is due to the engine. Other games have this issue too because if you try hard enough, everything is possible. However, Unity has a very obtainable structure. You can open a simple tool, drag and drop the assembly C#.dll into it, and you have access to most basic code with very minimal obfuscation, making it super easy for those trying to find certain data points. Of course, that is not all of it, but there really isn't any need to expose how easy it is to reverse Tarkov and develop cheats for it. The hardest part really lies within the driver that hides the cheat from the anti-cheat and finding features that will bring them more customers than the other cheats. That's why patching most features, such as container loot in this most recent patch, is the best way to combat cheaters. The fewer options there are for these cheats to gain advantages, the harder it will become to sell them, and even better, it will reduce the appeal to cheat for a lot of people when it's as bare bones and simple. 2. Bans. We also wanted to talk to you about the ban system currently implemented in Tarkov, and for that matter, most BattlEye-supported games. We saw a video recently where a cheater answered the questions of a streamer, which he said, hardware and IP bans hardly exist. This is partially true. However, hardware bans and launcher bans are done occasionally. Only BSG and BattlEye will know the exact number of cases, but most cheaters will not get a hardware ban on their first offense. It is quite shameful how easy it is to continue cheating after a ban, thus we'll give you the information on how cheaters continue cheating. Upon launching the game, BattlEye will note down a series of hardware IDs. However, on Tarkov, BattlEye only keeps track of your drive serials and Windows activation key. Whenever a cheater is banned, they will simply only have their account terminated. They are free to buy a new copy of the game and start over. However, in a lot of cases, while they aren't hardware ID banned, their account will still get banned due to traces of the cheater account being on the computer. So, when a cheater is banned, they will uninstall Escape from Tarkov completely, then use specific tools and/or programs to clean every trace of it existing on their computer. Once they've done that, they will simply buy and download the game again and can now play on a fresh account. Whenever a cheater ends up being hardware ID banned, you would think it's harder for them to continue cheating. While it is harder, it's still super simple and a lot of cheat developers even offer the solution to these issues. Cheaters can do multiple things. 1. Repeat the step above, but also reinstall Windows, as well as running a spoofer. A spoofer will change the serial IDs of your hardware. Whenever BattlEye would check for these serials, they're different. Thus, you appear as someone else. 2. Another way that doesn't require a spoofer is to configure your drives in RAID 0. This means they'll have two drives that are digitally on top of each other. For example, if you have two 1 terabyte SSDs, you'll be able to put them in RAID 0, and you'll have one drive of 1 terabyte space while both of them are connected. In normal use cases, this is done for storage backups and rollback opportunities for businesses and people that want to use it for good. However, when you put your drives in RAID 0, the serial ID number will return to nil, which basically means it doesn't exist. With this in mind, cheaters can simply do this configuration and always continue. Once they get banned, to be safe rather than sorry, they'll flip the drive image. Thus, having all the same programs and all other files, they simply have to modify the Windows key or simply reinstall Windows and not activate it, and they won't have to do anything else. Launcher bans also exist. These are not very common, but the launcher bans will stop people from logging in completely. The launcher ban is a combination of your IP and MAC address being blocked from the BSG services. Sadly, this is easily bypassed by forcing and/or spoofing these data points. 3. Accounts. Obviously, these cheaters will require accounts to play on, but how do they obtain accounts so easily? Sadly, there is a huge market of resellers and hijacked accounts. Let's start with resellers. For the longest time, BSG had package deals for massive account purchases. For whatever reason it was, this made the price per account cheaper, and thus people with a little more to spend were able to flip these accounts for a profit. The sad part about this is, most of these accounts are bought with a currency that made it overall cheaper, then resold at euro and dollar prices. This makes the resellers, mostly located in Russia, China, Taiwan, and Turkey, a ton of money, and they are actually able to live off this market. Then there is also the market of hijacked accounts. With a lot of data breaches happening, your data too can be compromised. In these data breaches, names, phone numbers, emails, passwords, and addresses are all obtained and resold online. A lot of the people buying the bulk of a data breach will comb through every account to find accounts linked to games and social media. Once they have achieved multiple of these accounts, they will sell those specific accounts for a profit. This account then ends up in the hijacked account market. In this hijacked account market, you can find any game account or social media account, either hijacked through email access or through cookies and/or other exploits. Because most of these accounts can be retrieved by the original owner, they are sold and pushed around the market for really, really cheap. As you can see, here are two accounts sold by the same person, one being 3.85 euros and the other 2.89 euros for a standard account. Sadly, these accounts were also leveled, and a cheater is able to play on the account and get the account banned without the original account owner ever really knowing why they got banned because they had a little break. The issue that arises with this is the lack of support and prevention techniques from BSG. We have no ability to change our email addresses. While it can be a good thing, once you lose access to the email address itself, you're locked out of your account, as well as the support, to make sure that you as the account owner are not punished for someone else's crimes. You as an account owner should also be informed about the steps you can take to try and prevent your account from being stolen. For about 1.5 years now, there is a two-factor authentication option on your profile at the Escape from Tarkov website. Please make sure to enable this with a secure two-factor authenticator app. It's not perfect, but it's one extra step to prevent people from stealing your account. Fourth, RMT, real money trading. RMT, or real money trading, is a well-known and significant issue in many games with player-run economies. In Tarkov, RMT has a very big impact. Sadly, the biggest impact is not just on the cheaters, but on legitimate players too. We've all heard streamers and community members complain that they can't drop items to friends anymore, or people getting a 60-day ban for dropping a bag of ammo for their friend. Even one person in our team got banned for 60 days due to RMT restrictions, right at the moment certain events were happening, locking him out of achievements on his main account. However sad that may be, RMT restrictions are really needed in this game. People will always be looking to buy, and there are so many countries where the economy is so bad that $5 is like 50 to them. The incentive for RMT lies with the people doing it as a job. Some do it legitimately, but most do it while cheating. The RMT business is very simple, especially now with fewer items to drop. That's why we'll explain how RMT works in this game. Most RMT sellers will have a small team. In 3 cases we know of, it's a really big team of around 50 people. No matter the team size, the items and services they sell are all the same. You can buy items which are rare but droppable items, such as gear, guns, gunsmith-specific guns, weapon parts, and ammo. For these items, the RMTer will accept your money, invite you to a party, and drop the specified items in the raid while escorting you to the extract to survive. You can also buy services which are a little more complicated. Services can vary, but the 2 most wanted services are carries and tasks. Carry service. If you buy a carry service, the seller will once again accept your money, then invite you to a party. The seller will be either alone or, when done more professionally, you will find yourself in a full 5-man party. The carry service is focused on giving you a complete kit with a full backpack and rig full of items from that raid, which you will get at the extract. You can then sell these items however you like without risking anything yourself. The tasks for these people are really simple. 1. You, the buyer, will be brought to a safe spot such as the bathrooms in labs, a random shack in lighthouse, or similar locations. 2. One player, most likely a cheater, will have the role of Overwatch. They will keep an eye on the buyer and ensure they're safe, as well as kill any other player that poses a threat to either the others or the loot. 3. The other 3 people will split up, each having a very large backpack with rigs inside. They will have their own designated location to loot. 4. In the end, the looters will meet up at the extract and sort the loot to give you the most valuable items from that raid. This typically consists of a raid backpack with 4 rigs that are filled completely, a chest rig with meta ammo, and more loot, and a gear set, exceeding 100 kilograms per raid easily. Task service. When you buy a task service, the seller and the buyer will communicate which tasks need to be completed. This can involve escorting you through tasks and killing players and scavs for you along the way, as well as possible kill tasks. The kill tasks are done with what they call actors. These actors are the players that normally would team with the cheater, and this is their way of lowering their KD ratio while earning money. Each kill costs anywhere between $1 to $2.5, depending on the seller. The way they achieve this is by having the seller invite you into their party. The server of the leader of the group that you'll be killing is usually a very calm and not often used one. They will try to start at the same time to snipe the queue together. Because at least one person from each group is cheating, they will know when they're in the raid together. If they're not in the raid together, they will reset as soon as possible and try again. If they are in the raid together, they will move to the location where you need to kill them, or hide when it doesn't matter. They will line up, and you will be able to kill them super quickly. The dog tags are taken, you extract, and repeat when you need more kills. 5. Exploits. We would also like to expand on exploits in the game. This will be very brief, but let's make one thing clear. The use of exploits is nothing more than abusing a bug to gain an advantage. At its core, this is cheating, no matter how you twist it. The current exploit that allows people to duplicate items is possible due to a bug within the server and client synchronization. The dupe exploit is done by bringing in loads of gear and dupable items into a raid. Your friend doesn't bring any items in. You wait 8 minutes or get 200 XP in any different way. You can now leave the raid, either by clicking through the menu or using Alt plus F4, restarting the game, and clicking Confirm Leave. Once you've confirmed that you want to leave the raid, you'll notice that your gear is still equipped, and you didn't lose anything. Your friend can now loot your body in raid, since when you confirm leave the raid, you'll drop dead and become lootable. Once they extract, both you and your friend will have the items from your PMC. Rinse and repeat, and your friend will have endless supplies of your gear and loot. The reason we decided to include this in the video is because of all the misinformation that is spread about this. For example, one person said in an interview that there is no dupe exploit, which is obviously a lie because he is afraid to get caught. It's easy to pretend that you're buying and reselling the items when confronted, which is the difficult part about this. There is a small chance it can be legitimate, thus BSG cannot ban them unless they collect flea market data from each account and can see that the person hasn't bought all those items themselves. We would also like to use this section to explain that there are more exploits in the game. Looking through a wall in a glitchy way is also an exploit. Most are not as extreme as the dupe one, but using it is still cheating. So, all of you that ended up doing any of that, you're no better than the person running cheat software on their PC. 6. What now? We hope to have informed you all about most of the basic knowledge that surrounds these topics, and hopefully, the community as a whole can learn and grow from this. As for us, we will continue to play the game and hope most of you will too. We have some final words, especially aimed at BSG, but please listen in. Battlestate Games, thanks for creating a wonderful game. We understand that fighting cheaters is not as easy as people on Reddit and Twitter think it is. We know that for every solution, there is another way to bypass it. However, please continue to improve your side of the battle and do not give in. It was a wonderful time to work against these cheaters alongside you, even though you may not always have recognized us and our efforts. We know, and now the community does too, that improving the BattlEye anti-cheat together with their team is a never-ending cycle. We know that you're bound by a contract with them that benefits you, but also them. It does not, however, benefit us, the players. Please consider entering into a combination of contracts between BattlEye and Easy Anti-Cheat. EAC is more thorough with their methods and less forgiving. Please consider using the knowledge of the people online and the knowledgeable people in these anti-cheat teams to combat cheaters more effectively and aggressively. There will never be an end to it, but you can work to reduce the numbers significantly. To those listening at home, the players and the communities, Please be aware that we cannot show receipts and proof of our work due to legitimate chances of doxing and exposure. If we were to reveal which cheats we have combated and who we are, it would create great risk for us. Aside from the script kiddies, there are some genuinely bad people in the cheat development scene that would cause genuine risks to our lives. To those who ever wanted to cheat, have already cheated, are currently cheating, and/or played with a cheater, we do not blame you. There are different reasons why people end up cheating. We'll never have respect for you, we'll never feel bad for you. But our genuine message to you is this: please seek professional help from a local doctor. The behavior connected to cheating in online games can be linked to serious mental health concerns, so please seek the help you need. To those who cheat as a job, we understand. You're not at fault for having such a bad economy. The incentive to cheat and make an actual living is too great, but please consider this. You're no better than a scam artist. You might like it now, and the money might be enough to get you through the night, but it might catch up to you if you have any moral compass left. To those who develop cheats, we understand you too, even more than those that buy your cheats to earn a living. The money involved in cheat development is too crazy to pass up when there is someone who will make it anyway. We do not ask you to stop. It's actually quite interesting, and you're the reason so many people have jobs. That's the real dynamic of cheats and anti-cheats. To all those that are still listening and watching this video, thank you for your time. We appreciate you, and hopefully, you gained a little wisdom. Thank you and goodbye.